Welcome to a demo of the new domain controller service from Uplevel Systems. This service implements an Active Directory domain controller directly into a small business network. There are no servers or Windows licenses needed. It is fully compatible with Windows 7, Windows 10, macOS, and even mobile devices. Today, we will do a demo of a simple domain setup. We'll use a computer running Windows 10 Pro and plug it directly into the Uplevel gateway. Let's start by plugging in the laptop into the gateway. Then we'll show you how easy it is to provision the domain on the Uplevel dashboard. On the left, you can see the new domain controller tab. It's labeled Directory. We can easily create a new domain on the network. Just enable domain services and then choose a domain name. Of course, we'll make sure that this domain name is not some public domain like google.com. That will not work. In this case, we will use demo.domain.test for our demo system. Once we hit save, the domain will automatically start provisioning. To join a computer to the domain, we will need to add a computer account on the dashboard with the hostname of the computer. Then we can add a user account to log into the domain from that computer. You can join a computer to the domain with any user account you have created here. Right now, we're going to uncheck the Has Local Admin Rights box. We don't need that just yet. Keep in mind that the gateway should not be powered down during the provisioning of the domain. This will ensure that files and databases are not corrupt. Of course, after the initial domain is provisioned, all of the databases will automatically be saved. Then the gateway can safely be power cycled. Please just wait until the initial provisioning portion is complete to do so. The initial domain provisioning takes about 10 minutes or so. We'll wait until the red progress indicator on the top of the dashboard disappears. Then we'll actually use the domain from the Windows machine. After the domain is ready, we'll log into the Windows machine with the local administrator account. As you know, a local admin account is required to join a computer to the domain in a usual manner. Once we log into the local admin account, follow along while we open File Explorer. We'll right-click on this PC, select Properties, then we will select Computer Name, Domain Changes dialog, and enter the domain name that we have created for the domain controller. Now we'll enter the username and password created earlier. You can see the computer is joined to the domain now. We'll want to first restart the computer to apply the changes. Then we will be able to log in to any of the user accounts that were created on the dashboard. Now that we know we can log into the domain, let's create a few storage drives and map them. We're back on the dashboard now. You can see that we have a couple of drives here under the storage settings, accounting and HR. We've partitioned off part of the Uplevel NAS to create these drives. If we go back to the Directory tab and select Map Drives at the top, we'll see there are two drives here as well. We can assign any of these drives to the mapped drive letter. This will place the drive under the management of the domain controller. Drives that are not assigned a letter will not be managed by the domain controller and will be accessible by anyone. For users to have access to the drives, they will need to be assigned to a letter. If we edit the user Tom, we can select any of the drives that were given a letter. You can see that here. Now let's create a new user that only has access to the accounting drive. Let's call that user Pat. The user will not be able to access the HR drive. If the user tries to access the drive anyway, he or she will be asked to provide a valid username and password. If they know the password, they can get in. Otherwise, they cannot. Now we have assigned the drives we want to set up. Let's go back to the Windows machine. We'll log out and then log back in. This lets Windows map the drives we have just assigned. We need to do this because the drives policy are now applied during login. We can see that we're back in the Tom account Now when we click on File Explorer, you can see that the drives are automatically mounted. They will show under this PC. Now let's take a look at the PAT user that only has a single map drive. Here we are logged into the PAT user where we open File Explorer and see the accounting is the only drive that is mapped. When we go to the domain controller's network location, it does not show the other drive. The other drive, if you recall, was named HR, and the PAT user wasn't allowed to access it. If we try to map the drive explicitly, then Windows asks for the proper credentials to access. Entering PAT's credentials won't allow access. That's because PAT is not allowed to access the drive from the domain. But entering Tom's username and password will allow access. Only the user Tom is allowed to access this drive. This is just like a normal Windows domain. The Uplevel Domain Controller service also has an audit feature. It allows you to search detailed logs kept in the gateway by the domain controller. Here you see the drive access events. You can search by user, computer name, or date to find the access logs you are looking for. Thanks for watching. If you want more information or a demo, please visit our website at uplevelsystems.com.